Okay. Just checking to see if this works. Seems like it is. That's kind of dope. Hi, I'm Beth. You know me pretty much on social media as BP from BP. I'm just kind of doing a chat to kind of get my balance on how to stream and how to make stream work and what other people would want to talk about. I know a lot of people do these chats where they, have a specific subject in mind. This is one of those where I don't. I'm just willing to kind of sit here and talk for a while. The funny thing is that even if nobody's here, I kind of have to keep talking because it's just, it's good to know. So if anybody pops in and you want to say hello, please say hello. I'm always looking for a good subject. I can find plenty to talk about on my own, but I'm always looking for something new. And also keep in mind, too, that as a lurker, I'll never call you out. Like, I'll never be like, oh, I see so and so lurking. Nope, it will not happen. As my little side card there says, I am fueled by caffeine and spite. So, but as most people I know are, huzzah. So there's lots to talk about in the world of nerdy, the world of not nerdy. Is there anything? I mean, like, well, there's not. I mean, there's one person who apparently has logged in, and I'm super jazzed that somebody has, and that's great. And it might be me for all I know. But yeah, I'm just gonna kind of prattle on about nerdy stuff and see where the world takes me. Yeah, I can also maybe I'll read a book. Like, wouldn't I? That would not be interesting to a lot of people. But we could talk about books. We could talk about D&D. I kind of want to avoid the campaign talk just because I like to stick to the campaign talk with our campaign folks and that sort of thing. Plus, our DM likes to have save points that allow us to have these conversations. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm kind of trying to adjust sound here because sound is behaving poorly. I don't really have anybody joining me, so I guess I don't have to worry about, oh, that's dandy. The whole thing just went down. Or at least went down that I could see it. I want to know why it did this. I assume I'm still streaming because the camera's still on, and it's being quite a jerk right now, which is just great. Let me see if I can get this back open. Where did you go? Okay, so everything kind of went kaflooey on the computer, which again is super dope. That's the stream. Let me open OBS because for some reason it has ceased showing me the launch. It has ceased showing me anything, so I'm not even sure if I am still streaming. I hope I am. And because of this behaving the way it is not letting me see. So I don't know why everything closed, but it did. And I'm going to try and bring it back. If anybody is here and they're talking, that's awesome. I can only hope. I can tell you the great part about this is I apparently stream so much with a skull for initiative that it's not letting me open my own chat. Yeah, my channels and videos have all gone down. I'm gonna assume that I've just stopped streaming and I'm gonna try and do it again. Because this is just becoming borderline exhausting. Yeah, see, this is why you practice. This is why you practice. The funny part is there's no way for me to stop it either. Because it is not showing me my own stream. Nope. Nope. Because I guess I don't follow myself. So, my home stream.
1.
Nope.
The master jeweler. What will we do?
Okay. Well,
You placed evil
we're in a
game.
channel. Oh, there I am. Alright, cool. I have 1 viewer still, which is great, but it doesn't register that I'm here. So that's fun. And I may be the 1 viewer, which is fine. But like I said, that's the one way, I guess, to learn. So, if anybody's around and you want to talk, we can do that. But like I said, this is all like a huge learning curve for me right now. I think what happened is because I went from like an unstable connection to an excellent connection. So whatever was going on, it just went kaflooey. And not that I was ever down, but I'm back up and running. Yeah, like there's not. Well, let's see what we can do here just to kind of keep the conversation flowing. And I'm not 100% talking to myself. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it is the wrong link. So I'm going to put up the right link. Thank you, Artemis, for pointing out that it is the wrong link. So it was the wrong hello. Let's see. Nope. It is not letting me put up the correct link. So let me try. I'm going to try and put up the right link. And I'm going to adjust. Edit message. So we're going to take this out. And we're going to take out Skull for Initiative. We're going to put in .tv. And then we're going to put in backslash BP from BP. We're going to hit send on that. And I'm going to put corrected link is now available. Because, you know, ding dong. Absolutely brilliant. I actually find that this has been super helpful in trying to figure out how to do these things. Like I said, I'm new at the game. I'm new at trying to do all this. And I'm also not, like, super... Even though I work for a tech company, I'm not super tech-minded. I would love to say I am. Like, I would love to be like, oh, I can do all this. Nope. Usually I have to ask for help. And that's been occasionally difficult. But, you know, it is what it is. Different kind of nerdy things I'm into. I am definitively a book nerd. I am a Harry Potter nerd. I am a Star Wars nerd-ish. I'm a Star Wars nerd because I was born at the time where... I was born in 1972, so everything was kind of coming out Star Wars came out in 1977, so it was actually one of the first movies that my parents took me to, and I don't really remember it. I kind of do. I sort of do. You do in like fuzzy memory way. But for the most part, I don't really remember that movie. Now, Empire Strikes Back, absolutely remember that. Huge. Good Lord. Life-changing. Hey, it's Candy. Hello. Hi, Candy. Thanks for stopping by and joining me in my prattle of trying to figure out how to stream and do these things. Welcome. If there's anything nerdy you would like to talk about, I'm here. Any nerdy subjects you would like to discuss, I am a very willing participant in all subjects. Or if there's something nerdy that you like that I know nothing about, teach me. I would love to learn about people's nerdy ambitions and things that they like. I think it'd be awesome. I know I have a few friends that are super into Legos. I find Legos difficult because I don't have the patience for it. Very similar to things like cross stitch and stuff like that. Like the patience is just not there for me. But it's very soothing, much satisfaction. In fact, my cousin and his son, they build all the Star Wars things. Lots of work goes into those, and I'm always super impressed by anybody who does that. And anybody who does those amazing works. And however it works out for them. But like I said, I'm mostly a book nerd, a movie nerd, TV nerd, general pop culture nerd. That's how I feel with crochet and knitting. Absolutely. That is very soothing for people. I wish I had the patience. I crocheted a blanket once. My grandmother taught me how to do that, which was, I have it. I think it's in my cedar chest. I have it. It's all red because I didn't know how to change colors or do anything like that. So, and it's got a couple, I'm sure, major knots in there somewhere. I liked it. Do you macrame? A lot of people, there was a time period where a lot of people used to do macrame, and I remember doing that. We went to a little arts class, me and 4 of my friends, and we did macrame. And it was complicated. We were supposed to make plant hangers for our moms, or for our houses, and I think I I think I got to a keychain. My abilities there, my ability score on that is very low. Very low. I'm just generally not good at that. Knots are harder to get right. They definitely are. You'd think knots would be easy, but knots, let me just hit that pun hard. Knots are not. I love the good wordplay. Yeah, I saw the picture that you put up on the Discord and that you had sent me of the little dragon. I thought that was absolutely adorable. Well outside my wheelhouse of abilities because you actually make shapes. And anybody who is listening and just lurking maybe, Candy made me a hat, which I love. And we're getting into hat season, which makes me very happy. So I'll be wearing that potentially on stream. I kind of follow the Amish method of a knitting crochet where you leave a mistake. Well, then, God bless. I also will be following that method because that's what I can do. I can definitely make mistakes. Patience is part of my problem. I've always been very patient when I've written, and I know how to give others grace for that. I'm not good at it. I'm not good at patience. I'm not good at taking the time. It tends to just drive me somewhat bonkers, these sorts of things. But yeah, so Yeah, but crochet and knitting, the work you do is amazing. And I always love a good hat. The hat you made me is just beautiful. The colors are gorgeous. And I always love those sorts of things. Um, but yeah, no, I see. I always I do too much. I touch too much. I paint like I can't leave well enough alone, I think is the problem. If I could, that would be dope. But I can't. Um, Invoicing time must happen. Yeah, invoicing time. That's unboxing. What are you unboxing? Fascinating. Um, yeah, just a little stuff. Um, just a little helpful hint if you do the Etsy thing. Always make sure you add your time into what you're doing. Time for your cost. Just because, yes, art is art and it's amazing and it's an amazing thing to gift to some people, but your time is worthy. Make sure. No, when you get your package next week. Oh, okay. I'm so excited. I will do a total unboxing when I get my pack. Are you kidding? I will absolutely do an unboxing. This is me just sitting here in my house, avoiding cleaning my basement and wanting to do those things. But no, I will absolutely do an unboxing, especially to encourage anybody for your stuff, for the worlds that you create. Nope, I am a huge supporter of small business and small artists. I'm here for it. Avoiding housework is a thing. It is absolutely a thing. It is what I'm doing right now. I have to clean out a portion of my basement because the water company has to come and change out the meter, the interior meter. If this may happen in warmer climates too, but I live on the East Coast. It's cold here, so you have an interior meter, so nothing freezes. And hey, Annie. And it is no fun cleaning out the basement. And just like as a fun fact, it's not just my family stuff in the basement. I have some of my late uncle's things. And then I have stuff from my mother's parents' house and stuff from my dad's parents' house. So it's a lot. There are a lot of boxes. It's a lot of things. And it's too much to hope for that a very skinny man from the water company will show up on Thursday to help me do what I need to do. I have found in my small world of ADHD that I tend to work better under frenetic pressure. So anything in a panic mode works for me. And that's what I'm usually in. I am usually in panic mode to get things done, which is crazy good times. But yeah, that's where I'm at. So yeah, how are my nerdy pals out there? Y'all having fun? Are you anything you want to nerd out about specifically? We can talk about anything. Harry Potter, Star Wars, pop culture of any kind. I love TV shows. I love movies. I love talking about any movie. And if I haven't seen it, freshen me up and I can talk about that. I also have a love and almost borderline obsession with RuPaul's Drag Race since season 1. So I can talk drag queen all the time. In fact, I'd love to have one on just to kind of, hello, Skull for Initiative. I would love to have, one of them on just to chit chat. But this is really just me, like, we're kind of open door chatting. Sort of like we did the other day. I just had people on. This is just me creating some space and trying to see what others would want to talk about. I'm going to be in and out, but yes, Drag Race. Mo, I know you are my girl on Drag Race. Favorite queen, if you want to tell me, you can. That's a very hard question because it goes seasonally for me. But I love RuPaul's Drag Race. In fact, I run a RuPaul's Drag Race fantasy league where we discuss all the joys, the trials, and tribulations, and try and win a little money in the end. Although this last year I was so not into it that I said no, I'm not going to do it. But it's always nice to do that. I think my favorite drag queen though is Latrice Royale, a delight. If you look her up, she was on the Family Feud episode of RuPaul's Drag Race. Please enjoy. Gigi Good, I wanted her to win so badly. And my goth queen, Sharon Needles. Okay, Gigi Good is fantastic. Gigi Good is like breathtakingly beautiful. However, Sharon Needles is from here in Pittsburgh, and I have met her a lot. And I knew her from the House of Horror, which is what she was in with Justin, who is Alaska Thunderfuck. So that was so I have seen them a lot before they went on RuPaul's Drag Race, and then once they were on, they were enough. There's actually a Pittsburgh drag queen, Lola LaCroix. She is amazing. She's so beautiful, breathtaking. Mo, come visit me, and I will take you to a drag show. There's an amazing club here. We will go. It will be a delight and a treasure. And usually if Lola is hosting, then Sharon is almost always there, just hanging out and doing her thing. Alaska as well, if she's in town. So, yeah, no, always support your local drag queens. There are a lot of great ones. Dixie Sherwood is one here in Pittsburgh also that's amazing. Supporting local drag, supporting humans at all levels. But yeah, so I am, that's one of my nerdy delights, which I'm not sure people would think that drag is like a nerdy thing, but it really can be. And, supporting humans all the time. I want to support all the humans. So, small businesses, local drag, support all your people. Find something you love in your hometown. That's the best thing I can tell anybody. Find something you love in your hometown, whether it's a small business or, a small creator or like a small local drag queen, small comedian. Like, just support them. Give them that kind of thing. My sister's gonna be a BFF. Summer clearance. He says it's his favorite time of year. Yes. Favorite time of year. Yeah. Summer clearance. I love that name. That is a great drag name. We used to do a thing, my friends and I, where we would come up with drag names for ourselves. It is not a shaming thing in any way, and it's not mocking. Like, we respect drag queens so much, but if we ever wanted to do it, and also drag kings. I have seen amazing drag kings. There are drag kings out there that I'm like, the makeup is just so prime. Yeah, the skills are amazing. Also, if you're a fan of Gothic, Mo especially, if you follow the Boulet brothers, their drag competitions lean mostly, he's one of those skinny, super agile ones who can vogue and bounce all around. I am always impressed with those kind of drag queens. However, I will say, I saw Latrice Royale here in Pittsburgh, and she is not a petite queen. And right in front of me did a full split, and I have never screamed so loudly in my life. Like, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yes, I know who they are, but I can never get TV time to myself. Yeah, if you ever get a chance to even YouTube some of the Boulet Brothers stuff, and it will be right up your alley, because it's like drag and gore mixed together. It's a beautiful, conglomeration of how things go. It's really outstanding. I couldn't love it more. But yeah, it's an absolute joy to watch and to be part of that journey for people, and especially to see them pop up. Like RuPaul's Drag Race is kind of considered the penultimate. It's like, this is, you've made it, but there are so many great drag performers out there that will never make it to RuPaul's Drag Race, because as much as I love Ru, you have to have a certain look, a certain style. Your video has to be just right, you know. Thorgy Thor, who I love, from year one of RuPaul till she got on in season 8, submitted every year, very similar videos every year, and just got the right combination. And then you have some drag queens that are so talented and just hit the right combo that they make it immediately. But yeah, there are such good drag queens out there. There are such amazing performers, such amazing drag kings, which I wish Ru would actually do on her show, because the talent there is extraordinary. Yeah. Yeah, if you're more quiet, you'll get pushed to the side, but talented AF, truth. But you also can't be too loud either. One of my absolute favorite drag queens, like in the list, and I have a big list, is Vicky Vox. You can follow her on TikTok and on Instagram and other places. But they have kind of stopped doing drag. They do less drag, but in the UK, the production of Little Shop of Horrors, they played The Plant, which was amazing. You were born naked and the rest is drag. That is such a truth that Ru says. And it is like, I mean, if you want to get like deep on it, it's beyond like a regular true thing, and goes to something like, when you are in it so deeply, it's such an amazing thing to see. Plus, I mean, to be honest, all of us wear our clothing as our drag. You know, this is how I live. I live in my sweatshirt. I live in my leggings and my Chuck Taylors. I dress which could be considered androgyny or androgynously. I don't wear a lot of makeup. I tend to cosplay makeup, but I don't wear makeup. Now, when I get into a situation where I need to sort of stand on my own and do my power moves, I tend to put makeup on, dress up, do those things to try and get my point across, because very unfortunately, we are a visual society that requires people to look a certain way. They want you to look a certain way. It's getting better. It's gotten better. But it's still difficult. And yeah, so yeah, I love this subject, by the way. I could talk about drag for days. It's also not everybody's particular jam, but I'll keep talking about it, and the drag queens I love, and the drag queens that maybe just aren't my style. But again, don't want to yuck anybody's yums. So you definitely have somebody that you like in this world that does drag, or does these things. But yeah, it's really what it comes down to when you support drag and you support other people. It's supporting your community, and that's what you want to do. You want to support your small businesses. One of the things we have here in Pittsburgh, it's usually the first weekend of December. Yeah, the first weekend of December. It's called Handmade Arcade, and people can get tables there, and you sell your handmade items. I have seen so many unique and different things. You're going to have tables of candles. You're going to have tables of soaps. There was this one person, though. he made cutting boards that were breathtakingly beautiful, like gorgeous. And so I tend to do, if I'm home in Pittsburgh at that time, I tend to do most of my shopping at the Handmade Arcade, because I would far rather, like, I'm not saying I don't shop at Target and other places, but for gifts especially, I would love to shop local. Kind of said, that shake weight. Oh, please. That shake weight skit is funny as hell. Another series of underrated queens. That just, yeah, eating chicken, shake weights, glorious stuff. Also another drag queen, just since we're gonna stay on the subject of drag and I'm here for it. I met Willem, who on the show was, we will say, definitively bitchy. And so I was anxious because I've never met a drag queen that wasn't, at the very least, polite. There are drag queens I've met that are very kind. Ben de la Creme, Jinx Monsoon, lots of drag queens. Sharon Needles. I have a picture of Sharon Needles holding my face in her hands. Alaska, super kind. Manila, so nice. Michelle Visage, so lovely. Just genuinely lovely. But Willem, I was nervous because, there are other queens that I won't mention that are not as nice. And they don't have to be. You are not required to be. All I ask for is polite because, I am, I will pay extra for a photo. Just, smile. Or don't smile, but just, be present enough to have that moment. And I was nervous as heck. And Willem was so genuinely kind. So genuinely kind, and interacted with every single person that was waiting in that line. So it was a totally dope experience. I equate it to Comic-Cons. There are a lot of people who take great joy out of Comic-Cons. I've gone to a couple. They are very people-y, and I struggle with the people-iness of them. No judgment at all on that. But they are just, everybody is very close, and they're doing very close things, and I don't love that. But for the most part, that is what drag shows are for me. Are basically Comic-Cons. Just loving to get to meet the performers and what they do, and applauding their art. I want to applaud everybody's art. I want people to get their joy. Get that joy. Do that thing. I'm here for it. Absolutely. Yeah, I want people to be happy and enjoy themselves. Yeah, and if that is drag or writing or reading or Harry Potter, Star Wars, Star Trek. Now, Star Trek, I really don't know much about at all. Mo said, I try not to judge because reality TV can paint a picture however they so choose. Absolutely. Reality TV does paint a picture of how they choose. I do, however, stand by one thing. Usually, I have a problem with anybody who says, well, it's the edit. And I mean, it could be the edit. The flaw I find is you said it anyway, though. I didn't mean to sound that shitty, but you said it anyway. And you made people feel a certain way. Yeah, Willem made me anxious. Usually if somebody is on Drag Race that I don't like, I just tend not to give them the airtime that they so desperately want. I won't go see them at a show or They just, you don't get my financial support. I support you because you're living your dream and you're doing your thing. But as a rule, I tend not to just, I don't say no, I don't like them. But at the same time, it's the way it is. And, yeah, okay. Sorry, just moving something here. And adjusting something in a calendar. And it just took my concentration there for a second. Lordy. Just one of those moments where you go, okay, there it is. Nope. You're just going to be a pickle. All right. All right. Now I'm answering someone. All right. And we're going to do this. But yeah, I just tend not to give them my space. I'm multitasking again. Andy's calling me out. But I am, because I just want to answer a question. And there we go. Oh, thank you. I do it, and I shouldn't. It's sort of like a devoted time. Like, I should devote time to certain things. At the same time, my brain has to work at just... I have to do other things while I'm doing it. Yeah. Yeah. So I have to do other things while I do stuff. It's crazy. And it's also not something that, I think it might be an ADHD thing. Like, I'm not sure that that's something that I deal with consistently. Some people do, not me. But I tend to multitask. I also body double well. I work well with others working at the same time. We don't have to talk. We could just do that. That's a different subject for a different day. Yeah, but nerdy stuff. I'm not really good at the Star Trek thing. I know stuff about Star Trek. That was actually more... it was watched on Saturday afternoons. Like, there was the Saturday afternoon horror movie, and then that, not something that I really overly enjoyed. But I will say I watched Next Gen. I like that a lot. I've watched Picard. I like that a lot. Everything just has other nerdy delights. I don't really play video games. I'm not good at it. There are many things in this world that I can do. Video games are not it. I'd love to try. I always love to put forth an effort. But as I went to visit Taylor one time, and she was like, "Hey, let's play Mario Kart," and it was her and Kylie and myself, and they gave me a controller. I was like, "This is not going to go well, I promise you," and did it anyway, and I was correct. I just spun in circles at the starting line. I'm not talented at that. I don't have the skill set to make that work. So yeah, so there is that. And yeah, it's just, I'd love to talk more about what makes everybody's nerdy things. Did you run off the track? It would have been nice if I ran off the track. I didn't run off of anything. I just literally spun. I find that I have to know what my new emails are at work when I'm doing other stuff. I think it's because I want the most up-to-date information. Yes. I think that's part of it too, is that work track that you get on. Like, I know there are people who go on vacation and never look at their emails again. I'm just not one of them. Because I feel like trying to catch up on a Monday, it's just going to be a nightmare for me. It's just not going to go well. And so it's just easier if I do those things and catch up and, kind of make the space for it. Kind of allow for, this is my weird little, this is my emotional glitch that I have. the hiccup in the system, I guess. All right. Cool. Yeah, still multitasking, still doing the things I shouldn't. Um, but yeah, uh, so I didn't even know body doubling was a thing. Prep planning. Yep, exactly. I didn't know body doubling was a thing until I started doing it, and then somebody referred to it as that's what it is. Because I can sit on the phone silently and do other things with other people on video calls. Totally works for me. May not work for everybody, just happens to work for me. Anybody else have any nerdy subjects they want to talk about? Because we can keep talking about this, or we can, anything else you guys love, a book series that you want to introduce somebody to, a book series that's your favorite. We can talk about the difference between the movies, the Harry Potter movies, and the books, or movies and books in general. Is there a TV show you guys love? Because I just love, even if we don't talk about, super nerdy things, I get so much more done doing body doubling. I note that as well, especially if I'm doing computer work. I will get far more stuff done. Just tipty typing away, I will do far more things, just by being present or having something to listen to. New Potter stuff. Did I say there was new Potter stuff? Maybe I might have said that. It was just like I meant like anything new. Potter series. My whole thing is with Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter books. I love the movies, but I love them as very separate thing. Like I consider them their own genre. And I actually am a huge fan of Harry Potter fan fiction. If I read Harry Potter fan fiction, I tend to read Hermione, so Draco Hermione stuff, or anything that's really not Hermione and Ron. I kind of like the Harry and Hermione stuff, but in perfect honesty, that feels a little like weirdly taboo sibling-esque that I can't. Like, they just seemed always like siblings. I know a lot of people always wanted Harry and Hermione together at the end. That was not my jam at all. I'm not saying, if that's your thing, absolutely. Just looking at them, that was not, I loathe Hermione and Ron stuff. I'm not a fan. There are some fan fictions, though, that are written where Ron is a better character. And that is nothing about the person who played him in the movies. But Ron in the fan fiction is a better human. He grows up. And there's something to be said for, a grown-up Ron Weasley. I don't know if we were ever meant to like Ron. Ron is sort of the character that is the worst side of friendship. That exists. It absolutely exists, especially when you're young. But I don't know, Ron is very hard to like in the books. He kind of gets it together in the end, but he's hard to like in the books. But I think all of us, if you look at the world in retrospect, you have that friend that is difficult. It's just difficult. It's the selfishness. Yeah, I agree with that. And he said, yeah, the version of him in the books and the movies were just distasteful. And he wasn't a good friend to anybody. It is the selfishness. But the thing is, I think if you look back at your own lives, you may not have. You might be very lucky. Everybody usually has that one friendship that is sort of good love-hate. You are their friend. You guys are friends, but you don't have, you may be jealous yourself, or they may be jealous of you, things you get to do, things they get to do. It's complicated. And I think I would give the grace to Ron as a character for that complicated, like the sixth of seven, or see the seventh. I don't know. Bill, Charlie, Percy, twins. He's the sixth. I actually had to count it out. But, he's the sixth. He never knew anything new in his life. He never knew anything. And, that's got to wear on a soul. Plus, the last child is a girl, so she's automatically getting new stuff. Like, she's not getting the boys' cast-offs, but he's getting 6-year-old cast-offs. I'm not saying that the way she wrote them wasn't valid. But he's a super selfish character. And then this actually, like, sort of parlays really nicely into a TikTok I saw today that talks about how do you separate the creator of the art with the art. Because I know a lot of people very correctly, and I'm not judging, they have huge problems with J.K. Rowling. I do. How do you separate that? Especially books. I feel like books are almost harder when you are trying to separate the book from the creator. And that becomes a very awkward conversation of how to do that. There are some theories out there that state, hey, just don't give them the money. Like, don't give them the thing they're looking for, the money. But with books, that's hard. Unless you plan on, illegal downloads, which I'm not telling you to do or not do. I'm going to be 50 years old. There was a time in my life where I was, let's just say I was downloading, and we'll leave it at that. We're not going to continue that particular end of this conversation. But, choices were made. However, it's back to Harry and Ron and Hermione. I never liked Ron and Hermione together. I've always felt like she was going to end up in the situation that she was going to be the caretaker / mothering him. And that never seemed to be what Hermione really wanted for her life, or the way her character had run for 7 years, and then to have that be the thing, it would just be difficult at best. And so yeah, it's awkward, unhappy, and unfulfilled. Yep. And yes, Lindsay, Napster and LimeWire, I will neither confirm nor deny that time was spent on those particular sites. Yes. But I mean, technically, if we're going to get into the very technical terms of this, I used to sit when I was very young and listen to the radio with my tape recorder at the ready to record the number one song on the Casey Kasem Top 40 Countdown, which theoretically could be considered bootlegging. But it's what you did. I cannot tell you how many times I have recorded the song I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, because that was the number one. You always wanted to record the number one. And there was no digital life to edit out talking, so you just wait. But yeah, so, and my brother was very good at it. My brother could time that click perfectly. But yeah, yes, I was a proponent of those things. Casey Kasem, yes, in the top 40. Are you saying that because you're like, I remember him, or I don't know who that is? And either one of those is the perfectly fine answer. But he was a DJ that kind of became celebrity-esque, borderline celebrity-esque. He just kind of, he actually would appear on TV shows and stuff. I don't know him. Okay. That's fine. You don't have to. He was in charge of the national top 40 countdown. It would air every Sunday. And on the East Coast early. They would play it early. And so you would listen to that. Usually around noon was the number one song. Um, he did that for years. And then he, as a voice, made appearance on a lot of cartoon shows. He was actually the voice. Was he the voice of Shaggy? I'm going to have to look it up on the original Scooby Doo. His voice was on. I think he was the original Shaggy. And this is where multitasking comes in handy. Yeah, didn't he do one of the Scooby Doo voices? I will almost guarantee he is the voice of Shaggy. Just because memory serves, he would do the zoinks sometimes on the radio, which, you know, as a kid, you'd lose your dang mind. Yeah, Casey Kasem, let me see. Yep, he was the first actor to voice Norville Shaggy Rogers in Scooby-Doo. I did not know Shaggy's name was Norville. Is that something that everybody knew and I was unaware? Like Fred, Velma, I don't think I ever knew his name was Norville. That's fascinating. See, I just add that into the files of in my brain. To keep for later, more information. Interesting, very very interesting. I did not expect to learn that particular piece of things today, but there I am, learning something new. Yeah, he was pre Ryan Seacrest. And he became like Ryan Seacrest level of popularity. He had that vibe. So he would do those things, and yeah, it was kind of fantastic. For what he was doing, which is great, and yeah, but he was famous for those things, and for being Shaggy. He had other cartoon voices, I feel like, too, but that was the one that was big. I think Spider took over the top 40. I don't know Spider. I feel like that fell out of my range. I stopped listening at that point. Needed a drink break there. Yeah, I think I stopped listening kind of at that point. Yeah. Although if you listen to Sirius Radio, they play on Sundays the top 40. If you listen to the 80s channel or the 70s channel, they will play the top 40 of that week. They'll just pick a year and they will replay that, which if that's your vibe, then you should get into it, because it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. It's nice to relive those moments of songs that used to play at the skating rink and those sorts of things. Yeah, I don't know who Spider is, though. I could probably look him up and just continue to multitask while I stream. But yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. I have nice memories of listening to Casey Kasem and Sunday mornings. That's kind of what you did. I used to work cash counting at Mervin's and would listen to the top 40 while doing that. Very cool. Very cool. Spider Harrison was a DJ, is still a DJ on Sirius. Really? Okay, that's awesome. No idea. I had no idea, but I will now listen for him. I know on the 80s channel on Sirius, they have a lot of the former MTV VJs as they have shows on there, which was always my goal, to be an MTV VJ. Needless to say, that didn't pan out, but then again, music on MTV didn't pan out, so what you gonna do? Yeah, I was a child of MTV. However, with the caveat that we did not have cable, so I had to watch it at either my grandparents' house or at a friend's house. I do remember getting grounded because I wanted to stay up for the premiere of the Thriller video and got told no. And the subsequent tantrum that followed, which was rare for me, meant that I was grounded and was delayed in buying my Thriller album. Is Mervyn's like a Woolworths? Kohl's, yeah. Yeah, we had a few of those around here, and I can't even think of a single name of one that would apply. We had Woolworths, though. Woolworths was very northern East Coast. That was the Woolworths was like the Walmart. Although the Woolworths had the one we had a diner connected to it that you would go to and eat at. So that was always kind of fun. Back in the day, when you would go Christmas shopping, always a good time. They would also hire underage kids because I got a job there very briefly. They didn't ask for work papers. They had good soup. Yes, they did. It was a really good diner. Like, they had good soup, good milkshakes, good everything. It was nice. You'd go and you'd shop, and then you'd go there and eat, and it was a full day out, usually with my grandparents. But yeah, they'd never asked for work papers, so you could be 14 years old. The fact that I was 14 years old, 15 years old, running a cash register, I think about now is terrifying. I see some of the kids that work fast food jobs, and when I pull up and I'm like, you look 12. And that's not a judgment. Like, if you want to work and you need to work, I'm absolutely glad you can get the employment. But at the same time, like, I'm just getting older because everybody is just getting younger. And that is not a McConaughey moment. That's just like everybody's getting young. But you'll find that as you age. Still Woolworths Counter Diner in San Francisco. That's really cool. I did not know that. They should have their own like TikTok account, like the last Blockbuster. Because they've got to be in short order around the country. I can't imagine there's a lot of them left. Which again is kind of a loss, I guess. But there's always something to replace it. There's always something fun out there to drop in. And place with those things. Places we used to go, or places we used to know. That's always a fun thing to click on. We were never allowed to get really fast food as a kid. That was a big no-no. The only time you got a cheeseburger from McDonald's is when, if you got an A on your report card, you got a free cheeseburger from McDonald's. You had to bring your report card in. And I did not like McDonald's cheeseburgers. They came with too many things. I was a plain cheeseburger person. And McDonald's was not the type of place at the time that gave you a plain cheeseburger at the time. There was more of a get what you get and you don't throw a fit kind of space, which makes things awkward and difficult. For some reason, my OBS closed, which has been okay. Yeah, I need to reopen this. Let's cancel that and let's reopen. Let's just open it. Open. Where are you? Cancel. This is going to be interesting too when I finally decide to end this stream, because right now it's opening with OBS and my OBS has shut down for some reason, so I'll just find a way to do it. It'll be fun later. Because I'm going to be on for a little bit and then kind of zip off there. Yeah, is there anything that anybody out there feels nerdy about that they want to talk about? Like, or, wants to drop and everybody can discuss accordingly. Because everybody's got a vibe out there of things that they like or want to talk about. Even if it is D&D. Like I said, I'm not really going to talk about campaign because campaign, we like to keep that to save points and stuff within the Skull for Initiative channel. So we're not going to do that. But, just, if there's anything that anybody wants to bring up, because I'll just continue to prattle on about unique things, because we can double back to Harry Potter. I can always talk about that too. There's a whole conversation too about Snape, and with the clarification point that I love Alan Rickman. I absolutely adore Alan Rickman. Actually, like forever. I will be sad on the anniversary of his passing. But liking Snape is hard. I know there are a lot of people that really do. They really like Snape, and the argument is, well, he was making decisions he had to make. He was a spy. Yes, agreed. But he was an abusive spy. Like, there were things he did not have to do. I would love, I need to get myself going. Love the chat though. Oh, thank you, Lindsay. And thank you for coming by. And I will do a better job at scheduling these, and actually putting out a schedule. I need to just kind of figure out what I'm doing with my life and kind of go from there. But in reality, I really just, I like doing this. I have a TikTok explaining why I don't like him. I don't know if you've seen it. I have not seen it, but I want to see it. Or maybe I have, but I might have forgotten because there's a lot of TikTok that goes on in my brain. But yeah, send it to me. And I will love to talk about that, because I think there's valid reasons to explain why he did what he did. However, I think a lot of people, no judgment, a lot of people are confusing whether they like Alan Rickman or they like Snape. I have a TikTok. Spill the secrets if you figure out your life. I'll do my best. Yeah, bye, Lindsay. Thank you. No one knows what they're doing with their life. Okay. Oh, yeah. Please send that over to me, because I gotta know. I gotta know your thoughts on Snape. I personally, like I said, in the book written, I mean, everybody needs a villain, and that's it. He's it. But, I mean, Dumbledore's not so great. I've had that conversation. Dumbledore tends to get more hate, though, and I'm not saying it's not warranted. But Dumbledore tends to get more hate because he's morally ambiguous. Snape was very, very clearly hated Harry. That doesn't change because he was doing what he theorized was the right thing. He also was mean and petty and childish, and was not the only student that he abused. A lot of them. He was not a good teacher. He was not a good educator. He treated them poorly, and that it's a terrible thing. Yeah, nobody has clean hands in this. He was ugly to his students all the time. Yes, Dumbledore isn't perfect either. He didn't have clean hands. No, Dumbledore was more morally ambiguous. He just was sort of like, well, that greater good stuff. And the thing is a lot of people don't realize sometimes that we all do that. It's very nice to say, all no, there's good people and there's bad. Nope. There's just a lot of middle ground. And a lot of things that we all do to make life either easier or things that they can do to help build that up. It's hard. It's definitively hard. But yeah, Dumbledore, again, it's that greater good crap. He did things, but that's pretty much every leader. It's the needs of the one versus the needs of the many. Sometimes you make the decision for the needs of the many, which isn't great, especially if you're the one. But that's the way things are. None of the characters are perfect. I think in rereading it as an adult, Harry's a brat, especially in book 5. I did not like Harry in book 5. Yes, you are having a very hard time, and yes, things are very difficult, and you are being an absolute jerk to your friends. The one moment I liked was when Ginny kind of lit him up. Loved that. Hermione, great character, also a snot. I would not want to sit in a class with Hermione Granger. The hand raising, fine. The being that brilliant, fine. I have a feeling that given half a chance and a little time, if she was a pure blood, she'd be very much like Narcissa Malfoy. Sort of looking down at people. Now, she's not that. So, And then we've talked about Ron and his perpetual selfishness. I do like Dumbledore for staying an educator and not becoming Minister of Magic. People want to go higher and higher. Yeah, no, I agree with that. He did continue in education. But I wonder, and I'm just putting this out there to anybody who's watching, and if you are a fan of Harry Potter, do you think that Dumbledore would have stayed after Harry graduated? Let's just say Harry survived this entire thing, even though he sent Harry to his death. Do you think after Harry Potter graduated, do you think he would have stayed in education? I mean, granted, he is, 3,000 years old, but, it's just, yeah, I don't think so. I think he would have left. And I do too. I think he would have retired. I think he only stayed to keep tabs on Harry. That was going to be much harder to do as the Minister of Magic. But this way he could naturally go and do the things he wants. There's actually a great fanfic I read by the writer is Cats Are Cool, and I'm trying to remember the name of the fanfic itself, but it basically starts with the end of book 3, where Dumbledore sends Sirius away, and it starts on a vibe of he decides on Buckbeak to stop at Godric's Hollow to say goodbye to James and Lily's grave. And he realizes that he has like a very mild compulsion charm on him to leave. And he decides to stay. It's like a 90 chapter book, but it's really interesting because it was a Sirius Black that not only threw off the compulsion charm, but managed to get out there and utilize the House of Black politically to take down Voldemort. I mean, with Harry's help and other things, but it was very interesting. Let's see, Annie. He seemed to have a plan and was only there because of it, and being in education was nominal. He was hands-off and left decisions to the school for others, but the decisions for Harry to him. It's true. I mean, I agree with that. He very clearly took an interest in Harry Potter, and what he was doing. But then again, Harry was a pawn in pretty much everybody's world. He was a pawn. Even there's an argument that could be made that even to Weasley effect, nobody really thought about Harry as the human, but Harry as a tool. So I mean, I agree with that. I like because I didn't read Harry Potter. I was an adult. I was teaching kindergarten, and I worked with a woman who was reading it, and she was a teaching assistant, and she said, "Hey, I have this book. If you want to read it." I read it in one night. It was the very first Harry Potter, and I went out and bought 2 and 3, and right after I finished 3, 4 came out, and that was the only one I bought in hardback. The other ones were in paperback. And then we had an internal wait for 5, 6, and 7. But that was fun. I used to go to the release parties and go do those things. And that was great. It was a good time. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, so did that and thoroughly enjoyed ourselves, and, had the fun that we needed to have. Yeah. And Harry Potter is a lot of good memories, especially with my neighbor who still lives next door. She is a little bit older than I am, and she also loved Harry Potter. And her husband would drive us and drop us off, these adults going to do those things. Annie, LOL, I didn't read it until I was an adult. To get 30 plus kids from age 6 to 13 to settle down during a storm when they couldn't be outside. Yeah. One of the greatest reading mistakes I ever made as an educator. I worked kindergarten in the mornings, and then I had what I called the School Plus program. So the afternoon was kids that we didn't have all day kindergarten. So it was kids that stayed at school because their parents couldn't come get them. And then we also, from 3 o'clock on, the kids that had finished school for the day, we had a School Plus program. And so at lunchtime, while the kids ate, I would read a chapter of a book, and I read a bunch. James and the Giant Peach. I hit Roald Dahl hard. So a lot of the, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, James and the Giant Peach, those sorts of things. And I made the decision to read Charlotte's Web, just because it's a personal favorite of mine. And so I'm reading to the kids every day, and it's going swimmingly. It's going quite well. And then we got to the part that, it's not that I forgot, mind you. I know the story. It's just something that it never really crossed my mind. We get to the part where Charlotte dies. Spoiler alert, Charlotte dies. And I remember one little girl very specifically laying her head down on the lunch table and starting to cry. And another little boy said to me, "But not for real, though. Charlotte's okay. It's not for real." And I thought, well, I've ruined a bunch of parents' evenings with this particular decision I've made. And they read it. We finished it. They actually really liked the end. When Wilbur got to live. But yeah, so I'm sure there are children somewhere that are now adults, because it's been years. So I would say they're probably in college now, easily, and or older. And talking to their therapist about the day that their teacher read Charlotte's Web to them, and talked to them about death. So that, I mean, yeah, it wasn't my best choice, reading wise. But I didn't want to read Stuart Little. I loved Stuart Little, also an E.B. White classic. But Stuart Little, as a comedian has pointed out recently, is not about a family that adopts a mouse and, is like a little mouse-like person, but like he is a mouse that is born to the family. Like she had him. He is a mouse. And I didn't really think about the nuances of that until recently, and it has sort of colored my entire outlook of that. But yeah, there were a lot of books I read. I never read Harry Potter to the kids. That felt like the older group. I did start to read book one, and they were somewhat interested, but I thought there's not enough interest here for me to continue on this particular track. So that's what I did at that time. And yeah, it's just been one thing after another, as far as those things go. I always love getting kids books. I always hope they'll read them. They don't have to. But apparently Kanye West made a statement the other day. He started a boarding school, apparently, and reading is not one of the things that's going to be required because he said reading is like Brussels sprouts. Nobody really likes it. And he admits he does not read. And I'm not saying you have to, but I hear that and I'm like, I'm not saying books have to make you as happy as I do, or as they do me, because Lord knows they make me happy. But, it's all balance and shape. So yeah, but yeah, I think I've been on here about an hour. I don't even know how long I've been streaming. I'm probably gonna get going here, just because it's a little more than an hour. Thank you, Annie. Yeah, I'm gonna get going just because I appreciate you guys hanging out and talking to me about nerdy things, and I'm gonna try and get a better schedule. I am gonna try and do this on Sunday afternoons though, just because I usually don't have anything to do on a Sunday afternoon, and wouldn't that be delightful? But if anybody wants to ever join me and talk about their nerdy thing, reach out to me, and I would love to talk about your nerdy thing. I'm gonna try and have guests on to talk about their nerdy things. Content creators, I'm reaching out to some now. We'll see what happens, and if we can have that space where we're all together. But I want to thank all of you for being here, for showing up, for giving me some views and time and space to talk to you, and also giving me like a learning curve, which is a huge thing, to get that learning curve available and have that where you really need it, because I do, because I'm still trying to figure all of this out, and I appreciate your time. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and log off, but since OBS closed on me, like on its own, and what it's doing is it's not letting me open up. It says it's already running. Yeah, I'm probably going to launch it anyway. If it does shut me off, that's great. If it doesn't, I wish all of you well, and I'm going to try and figure out how to log out of this jam. But thanks for being here, and I appreciate you all. Yep. And it's connecting. Stream chat. Still doing its thing. Okay. It is not letting me shut down. This is dope. Let's see if I can find out. I can do it over here. Doot doot. Doot doot. Okay. Nope. Bye. I'm gonna just close this and try and make my life easier.